Inforce 911 is an application-based mobile panic button designed to save lives. It's an instant notification and two-way communication platform that significantly reduces the time for law enforcement to respond and arrive on the scene during an emergency. Our application was built with simplicity in mind and designed with two main priorities. Priority one is to reduce police response time. If there is ever an emergency at your school, any teacher, faculty, or staff can send a notification on any platform. That's inclusive of laptop, desktop, iPad, tablet, and smartphone. That notification is received by all local law enforcement on all of their devices simultaneously. So it's not only going to dispatch, it's also going to the in-car computers inside the cruisers, also officer cell phones. So even if a police officer is off duty, they'll be alerted as well. Most active shooter incidents end within 5 minutes, and someone is shot every 15 seconds. We know once police arrive on the scene, the shooter either turns the weapon on themselves, flees the scene, or engages in gunfire with the police. So in short, we know the quicker we get the boots on the ground, the quicker the incident will come to an end. Now, priority two, on top of reducing police response time, is to bridge the communication gap. There's a significant difference between notification and communication. Inforce 911 not only sends an instant notification, but also allows for two-way communication between the school and law enforcement during any kind of an emergency. Inforce 911 is FIPS 140 compliant for the highest level encryption and security. It's also CJIS 5 compliant, which allows it to run natively on all law enforcement devices. And lastly, we store and host the data in the government sector of the Microsoft Azure cloud, which is the same standard FBI uses. As you can see here, the Inforce 911 application sits natively down here in the apps tray on your laptop or desktop. When you click on it, this bar pops up and it comes pre-populated with 10 different locations where a teacher may teach during the day. The default location being where the teacher typically teaches out of. Down at the bottom, we have select categories for the proper response. So not only the active shooter, we also have intruder, medical emergency, other, and we also have an all staff, which is an internal only alert that doesn't go to law enforcement. It stays in-house, but it has a forwarding option if the event was to escalate and police presence was needed. We can forward that situation right over to local law enforcement, bypassing 911, and they'll get to the scene immediately. When this bar is presented, up at the top, we send emergency alert, and that triggers the alert to be sent from the school to the local law enforcement. Once that is sent, a 10-second countdown starts. As you see it going right here, you can simply cancel it if you did it by accident. But if you wanted to bypass it and make sure that the alert is sent as quickly as possible, you can send emergency alert and then send alert again. As you can hear, that loud, audible sound is what law enforcement is going to be receiving on all of their devices. They're also going to get this pop-up window front and center on all of their devices as well. So there will be an audible and a visual alert being received on all of their devices. Now, not only is it an alert, it comes with a ton of information that's very important within seconds. So we know up here that there's an active shooter. We know the location, Littlewood Day School. It's at 15 Newbury Street, Peabody, Massachusetts. And we also know that teacher Andrew Austin was the one that sent that alert from room 100. All of that information was delivered to law enforcement within seconds and bypasses that 911 system completely. So instead of calling 911, reaching dispatch, asking a handful of different questions to be able to route it to the right appropriate people, Inforce 911 bypasses that completely and gives those specific people the information that they need in order to respond effectively and properly. Simply, law enforcement receives this alert and can just click on Join Inforce 911 Alert. Once they click on that, it shows up on the right-hand side here. Officer Sergeant Andrew Austin has received the alert, and Now they can actually begin communicating with the people inside the building. You can say something along the lines of ETA 1 minute. Now, once that message is delivered, that's going to all of the staff and faculty inside the school. So not only is law enforcement receiving this active shooter alert, everyone inside the school is receiving it as well. So they know that there's an active shooter at Littlewood Day School, 15 Newbury Street, Peabody, Mass. They also know that teacher Andrew Austin was the one that sent that alert from classroom room number 100. They also have the peace of mind knowing that this alert was sent to law enforcement and they've actually seen it and are responding. There's also an actual estimated time of arrival being 1 minute. Now, this is when the people inside the school can actually start communicating with each other and to law enforcement. They can say something along the lines of shooter wearing red shirt and jeans. Another teacher or faculty member may see that shooter wearing red shirt and jeans passing by their classroom, heading towards the gymnasium. And now that teacher has the ability to reach out and say that information as well. They can say something like, shooter heading towards the gym. So now, as law enforcement's responding to this alert, they actually have information to respond to in real time. And the only way to make informed decisions is with that information in real time. So typically, dispatch would be quarterback in the situation as law enforcement personnel are arriving to the scene. Now they are able to communicate all of this information with them along with other features. We have the ability to link into your camera links so you can actually see what's going on inside the building. If you do have cameras, it allows law enforcement the ability to see what's going on in real time. We also have the ability to upload floor plans. It may look something along this line. It has contact information. It has building information, alarm codes and communication systems, also aerial imagery. So you might know where a potential command post may be or a reunification area. And it also, most importantly, has updated detailed schematics of the building. So if we know that there's an active shooter wearing a red shirt, jeans, and they're heading towards the gym and started back on classroom 100 and the flow is going up towards the gymnasium, law enforcement might want to approach the building from the side entrance right in front of the gym to try to catch that shooter head on, as opposed to going in the front entrance if they didn't have any of that information. Same is true when it comes to the people inside the building. If their training told them to barricade the doors and shelter in place based on the information that's being received, it may make more sense for them to leave the building and go to their reunification area. If they know that the shooter is on the complete opposite side of the building, they have that ability to make informed decisions on what to do and how to proceed. Inforce 911 also allows for reunification to be used in a great sense. At the end, when the dust has settled and the shooter is apprehended, we can go teacher by teacher, classroom by classroom, accounting for absolutely every individual. If anyone does need any medical attention, we can make sure to account for that as well. And after everything is all clear, law enforcement will be able to send that all clear message across the network to say that they're all clear. Please, teachers, classroom 1 to 10, check in. Again, this is very crucial because in an active shooter situation, there are many instances where there's no communication and teachers may be outside of the classroom. There may be someone that, needs medical attention, but they're not getting it. And with Inforce 911, we keep everything in house and able to receive and send these messages to get the appropriate response quickly and effectively when we need it most. There's also another function called the reverse alert. So similarly, when there's a threat inside the building and they have to reach out to law enforcement, it can take, a number of minutes to be directed to the right person. Now, if there's ever a threat outside of the building, law enforcement needs to reach key personnel inside the building to let them know of the threat, and that can be time consuming as well. So that can take many minutes to reach the principal or the security personnel that you need to reach. And it might be very hard to get in touch with those people. Enforce 911, same idea, bypasses the phone system and allows law enforcement to directly reach key personnel inside the building, and then they can just focus on the task at hand. To show you a quick demonstration, this is the law enforcement interface here. It has all of the schools presented on the map, and when they send the reverse alert, you can choose all schools. You could choose one or two schools. You could go right on the map and circle the area where the threat is and send the alert to that area. You could say something like lockdown, shooter in pursuit.
New Inforce 911 reverse alert.
So when the reverse alert is sent, it goes to the key personnel inside the building. And when they receive it, they can join the alert. You can see teacher Andrew Austin from room 100 received that alert, and they can communicate and say, we will lock down until we hear otherwise. Again, this is such an important piece for law enforcement to be able to make a quick decision, send that information to the people that need it most, and then focus on the task at hand. And here at Inforce 911, we see that more often than pretty much any other feature that the application has to offer. That being so many different multitudes of reasons that we may be able to need something along these lines. So we've seen this because of a severe weather incident. We've seen it because there are shooters in pursuit, a bank robbery in the area, chemical spills, pipe bursts, custody disputes, you name it. There's all sorts of different reasons where law enforcement would like to reach people in the school and do it quickly and effectively. And Enforce 911 is the solution.